So, joining me are conservative industry critic Rick Person and NDP industry critic Brian Massey. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here despite the horrible weather. So we asked the Liberals to come. What do you think about the fact that, you know, this is such a huge deal and such a big deal for everybody across the country that they couldn't find somebody to come and talk with you?
Well, I saw a couple walking here on the street, but at any rate, it is huge. I mean, this is a significant issue because the merger, not only in terms of its size is important, but also it's about how we connect to our families, businesses, and integrate in the world. So we've seen during the pandemic that this is very important. So as New Democrats, because it relates to school, business, your personal social life, the internet access and affordability is really an essential part of who you are and how you interoperate within the communities, and so not having them here to explain this is not helpful.
So, Mr. Perkins, let me ask you this. Is it going to expand connectivity for Canadians? Because I remember a colleague of ours could not get connectivity in the suburbs of Ottawa. So will this help?
Well, it's important to separate the wired cable issue of Shaw and Rogers from what this deal is about today, which is about the mobility side of the deal. And it will not improve competition or lower prices. In fact, the opposite. In every case where we've seen a mobility player removed from the market, we've seen increased prices. And Rogers is the most expensive cell phone provider in the world. Not in Canada, in the world. And so the minister's claims that this will reduce cell phone rates is without any merit or backing, because that's not the proven track record of these companies. In fact, Videotron is a regional player in Quebec.
Yes.
We don't have 4 national carriers. I'm from Atlantic Canada. We only have 2 national carriers in Atlantic Canada, Bell and Rogers. We have a regional carrier called Eastlink. So the claim that this creates 4 national carriers, we don't even have 3 national carriers. Freedom is a small player in Ontario and only has a 6% market share in Alberta and British Columbia. So it's not really going to change the competitive landscape in terms of providing more competition, which is ultimately what reduces prices.
But Mr. Massey, the minister today said there are 20 or 21 conditions that are legally binding. If they don't do it, what then?
Well, that's a big question because I don't know how he can live that up. And it's going to be 10 years. So I guess he's assuming he's going to be the minister over the next 10 years, which is pretty presumptuous. On top of that, many of those conditions are things they should have been doing already, including reaching First Nations and rural customers. So these are things that they're actually getting massive subsidies to do as well. I'd like to point out as well, if there is going to be a failing in this process, so it's almost like he's built a Frankenstein monster. If any part of this fails, there's going to be penalties to Videotron or to Rogers. So if it fails, it means his business plan failed. And on top of that, then there'll be penalties against those companies. And who's going to pay for those penalties? It won't be the CEOs. It won't be the board members or the top shareholders. It'll be customers. And at least he could have done is actually added at least a component so if it does fail later on and customers have to pay for the failed merger, to be actually put on your bill, because that's what's likely to happen at the end of the day. So even his model is broken from the start of actually passing on the cost to consumers if it fails. And I think it will fail because it just doesn't have the structural capacity necessary to be competitive.
But it was a good idea. I want to ask you, Mr. Perkins, your party says this is a bad deal. Prices are not going to go down. It's all a terrible, terrible deal. Did we need a deal? Did we need to do something? Did something need to be done?
Well, the Shaw family wanted to get out of the business. So I don't think we're in the business of telling a business what they should or should not be doing. So when they made the decision to get out of this business, the question became who? And in this aspect of the deal, it was not a competitive bidding process. There were 3 other bidders who put in bids for Freedom to Rogers that Rogers wouldn't even talk to. One of them offered $1 billion more than they accepted with Videotron.
So what does that mean?
Well, what it means is that Rogers had other motives other than maximizing shareholder value when it came to selling Freedom. What they were doing was picking a competitor or a player or a buyer who would be the least competitive for them in the marketplace.
So how are they going to implement these conditions? Because it's got to be clear that these are conditions, and those are pretty clear. What powers or how will the government do that?
We don't really have a structure for this. We're in uncharted territory. So they can, again, bring them to court later on if they don't fulfill them, but then you're going to be actually harming the consumers at the end of the day as those industries or companies struggle with trying to meet the conditions. So that's a big problem. So you have the 21 conditions, you have, and what thresholds are we going to be known in terms of consumers as to when they're not meeting them, how they're going to be penalized, and who's going to pay for them. None of that's out there in public. So for myself as New Democrats, we're going to be pushing this to go back to Industry Committee to have a look at it. Again, Industry Committee, by the way, was opposed to this.
Yes,
Competition Bureau,
yes.
The Competition Bureau was against this. That unprecedented that they took them to court. The minister gave the green light to Rogers and to Shaw today, but said the red light to Parliamentary Committee, red light to the Competition Bureau, and also basically passed on the legacy of this to consumers. How do you eliminate the competition and then say there's going to be more just by creating something else that even basically is what he's made up at some boardroom somewhere else?
Quickly, I have very little time, Mr. Perkins, but do you trust that it's possible to keep these companies to account?
No, the minister doesn't have any authority to set cell phone prices. That's done by the CRTC. And the minister himself has not lived up to the conditions that were put on the sale of Nexan in 2013, 10-year conditions, which just expired, including employment, which Nexan has cut thousands of jobs in Alberta. So even those employment conditions that the minister has put on this are hollow because he hasn't enforced them from another deal.
Well, I think we're going to be following this for quite a while. Rick Perkins, Brian Massey, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us.